race fans, and welcome back to the Got a Minute Mini podcast. So thrilled that you're here. Today, we're having a very funny conversation about when young love becomes forever love. And then we're going to have Anjanette on. She's going to tell us about her song, Lucky Charm. It's a fantastic song, and I can't wait for you to hear it. So here we go.
Got a Minute Mini Podcast is a production of Pioneer Dream, celebrating 30 years of telling stories for our corporate, nonprofit, and entertainment partners. Be sure to check out our Dreamers Live podcast, which offers entertaining conversations about living intentionally.
Chapter 16. Stick the Landing. What do you remember about 1993? It was a lot of sleeps ago. But for perspective, Beanie Babies were exploding. As a viable trading commodity, not just a cuddly toy. Bill Clinton was president. Walker Texas Ranger was kicking in the doors of our televisions. And the singer Meatloaf had declared he'd do anything for love, but he won't do that. And the Cold War was reported to be over. On the other side of town, I was 20 years old and making good on a promise I'd made roughly 6 months earlier. The whole thing went something like this. I was home on break from school at OU. That evening, I'd gone out with friends to a movie and just dropped off my girlfriend, Anjanette, for the night. We were pretty serious. In fact, I had already dressed up in this ill-fitting hand-me-down suit and asked her dad for permission to marry her. Somehow, he agreed. Now, I just needed the right plan to ask her. For days, I racked my brain for a grand gesture that would say, hey, spend the rest of your life with me. I reviewed sentimental songs and sentimental places. I rehearsed words and poems and petitions. Even so, the when and how remained out there in the ether somewhere, purposefully avoiding me. Occasionally on big moments like this, I was like a kid on a dirt bike getting ready to jump the Grand Canyon. I would race to the edge of the ramp only to slow just before getting there, look over the edge, and go back to the start. Then, in an unplanned, impulsive, and slightly anxious hurry, I'd race for the ramp and take the leap, only in midair to realize I didn't have a helmet or a net or even a plan on how to land. And that's what happened here. On my way home from dropping Anjanette from the movie, impulse hit. I turned my bike towards the ramp over the Grand Canyon. While I scrambled to put on clothes, I repeated the freshly minted plan over and over in my head. Step 1, pick up Anjanette, blindfold her, and get her in the car. Step 2, slowly fade up the song she said she wanted as a processional in our wedding on the way to the place where we first kissed. Step 3, flawlessly deliver the most amazing proposal ever. Step 4, cue up the happily ever after. Here's where my dirt bike hit the first pothole on the way to the ramp. The cassette player in my car was broken, but the house where I was staying had a good-sized boombox. Problem solved. I plugged it in, queued up the tape, and headed for the car, pedaling hard for the Grand Canyon. I reached the door of her apartment where I had just dropped her 20 minutes earlier. I placed a blindfold over her eyes, deflecting all inquiries and questions. My bike was picking up speed. With all the smoothness of a 4-year-old magician, I leaned back between the 2 front seats and stretched far enough to hit the play button on the boombox. Those instantly recognizable chords began. Now I was praying that I wouldn't run out of song before I ran out of road. Impulse doesn't allow for test runs. It didn't matter. My grand gesture was off to a beautiful start. Anjanette knew in a moment this was something special. The Say Anything boombox only added to the sentimentality, right up to the moment when the batteries began to die. Everything in my body went hot. I was freaking out. The cassette gears were grinding slower with each revolution. The song actually changed keys twice between stoplights. I began to hum along to compensate. It was all I could think to do. Then I sang. I was hoping she would think I was caught up in the moment, like the rapture of the song. Not that I had failed to check the batteries before the most important night of our lives. With a mile left to go, the gears groaned into a halt, but not before turning the processional into a Barry White song. I just kept humming. I doubt she even noticed the change. The ramp before the canyon was approaching. What if I pull a hamstring? On a quiet country road, I made one final turn, up a small summit that led to a clearing where we first kissed for a very long time. It had been a magical experience that had cemented our connection to each other way back when we were still in high school. It had been years since we'd been here, but I knew she'd recognize it immediately. We crested the hills, and the trees opened like a stage curtain, revealing the glorious full moon. The curtains also revealed a 3-bedroom house and 2 country dogs out in front. I guess it really had been a long time since we'd been up here. I hummed feverishly to cover the sound of barking dogs as I backed down the hill and through the trees, quickly. It's hard to hum when you're also dropping expletives. Meanwhile, Anjanette was still blindfolded and descending backwards down the hill with a boombox reviving and dying sporadically. It was pulsed by a voice of a melodic serial killer. I assume this is just what she dreamed of as a girl lying on her bed, imagining her magic marriage proposal. From the bottom of the hill, I could still see the dogs rimmed in the moonlight, still showing their teeth. Where am I? I'm still on my dirt bike, but I've lost so much speed. Do I stop at the base of the ramp, having pedaled this far? I stood up, and I pushed the pedals over and over, racing hard for the jump. Outside the car, I opened the passenger door and led Anjanette by hand into the night. I know you remember this place. I can't see anything. Oh, blindfold! I took the blindfold off, and she looked for all the clues the night sky would give her. Then she turned back toward the hill and the clearing, and she smiled. Why are we down here? Our spot's at the top of the hill, in the clearing. I dropped to one knee. That's where we've been, I said. Tonight is about where we're going. My bike had just left the ramp. I was suspended over the canyon, one loose shoelace dancing in the wind. With a poetic offering, I told her how much I loved her and that I didn't want to wait to start spending the rest of my life with her. I placed a ring on her finger and asked if she would marry me. She kissed me, and I held her and celebrated that she loved me not enough to laugh in my face yet. Whose dogs are those coming down the hill? Oh, yeah, we should probably get going. The landing was rough, but I managed to stay on the bike and clear the canyon. On New Year's Day, 1993, we stood on the stage of our town's performing arts center, exchanged vows, and made good on our promise to marry each other. Life is better with good stories. At least I'm glad that's what my wife believes. Well, hello, Anjanette, and welcome back to the Got a Minute Mini Podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the Got a Minute Mini Podcast.
Were your ears burning as you heard the story of me asking you to be my forever spouse, my forever wife?
Oh, man, that was a long time ago.
It was a minute ago. Yeah.
I remember it, though. That's a good story.
Hey, we're having you on today to talk about a really fantastic song.
Why, thank you.
Called Lucky Charm.
Oh, yes.
And I think it is apropos to the story at hand. Tell us a little bit about how Lucky Charm came about and what you were thinking when you wrote it, or what stands out to you about that song.
Okay. Well, a couple things. It reminds me of both you and our daughter.
Yes.
The actual title, Lucky Charm, I've always loved St. Patrick's Day. And so one of the nicknames that I had for our daughter when she was a little bit younger was my Lucky Charm for whatever reason, just because we would like to say that around St. Patrick's Day. So I had an idea for this little simple song, but it ended up being kind of sweet, I think.
Yes.
So, and a lot of times when I write songs, I think about love in general. So, I mean, obviously, this was an ode to the fact that you're also my Lucky Charm.
Well,
So.
thank you. Yeah.
It's not just for her. But anyway, It's a sweet song. I'm trying to remember. I know. The thing about this song that I really like, and this is how the song came about. I think I was singing one time around St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
And a lot of times when I'm singing at nighttime, I am, glad to be there and usually enjoying at least parts of it.
Yeah.
But I'm also ready
It's
to
a
get
lot
home.
of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and I'm ready to get home to you guys. So that was the part I was thinking of. Was at the end of the chorus. It says, "You're the cocktail waiting at the end of the bar." So
Yeah.
usually when I sing, I won't have a beverage. I'll reward myself with a beverage when I'm done. But metaphorically speaking, coming back home to you guys,
Yeah.
My Lucky Charms. That's the cocktail waiting at the end of the bar. So anyway, it's a sweet song.
Fantastic. And we're lucky to get a chance to hear it right now. So let's take a listen.
Okay.
How lucky that I met you. From all the people we knew, love saved me so much time. Sent me the perfect find. You're my four-leaf clover, my lucky charm. The rainbow after the biggest storm. My secret weapon, my shining star. The cocktail waiting at the end of the bar. The cocktail waiting at the end of the bar. So you don't have to tell me how lucky I am. And when I'm blue, you're red. You sing the voices out of my head. Your smile just lights up the room. You keep my song in tune. You're my four-leaf clover, my lucky charm. The rainbow after the biggest storm. My secret weapon, my shining star. The cocktail waiting at the end of the bar. The cocktail waiting at the end of the bar. No, you don't have to tell me how lucky I am. And I'll keep my heart tucked in behind yours when I feel sad. And I'll hold your hand as a reminder should times turn bad. But you don't have to tell me. No, you don't have to tell me. No, you don't have to tell me how lucky You're my four-leaf clover, my lucky charm. The rainbow after the biggest storm. You're my secret weapon, my shining star. You're the cocktail waiting at the end of the bar. The cocktail waiting at the end of the bar. The cocktail waiting at the end of the bar. The cocktail waiting at the end of the bar. No, you don't have to tell me how lucky I am.
Thanks for listening. We'd love it if you would like and subscribe to the podcast and then share it with the people you know. Thanks. This has been a production of Pioneer Dream.